Hi everyone, Shane here. Some of you guessed, welcome to the video and thanks for looking in, by the way. Any new subscribers, big thumbs up to you. Any of my existing long-term subscribers, big thumbs up to you. It's late at night, I'll probably jumble my words, I'll apologise from the word go. Some of you put in the comments from my last video, the Viroc HW110, a couple of people put in the comments at what their guess was as to what gun I'd bought, or should I say the wife bought, because I was actually shooting down the Greyhound, the bit of video you've just seen. At the time I was shooting, she was in the car over to Solware in Tamworth to get me this gun to pick it up. Now I've got a couple of problems, one with the gun and one with the box. And the gun I didn't realise till I'd shot it for 6 days till I had a problem with it. But I've scratched my head and I've thought of it for not hours but for quite some time, because I was offered the chance to actually take it in and exchange it for another one. But since it shoots so well and I can live with that fault, I will explain. I'll go into more details in a moment. In fact, I'll start now. When I got the gun, when I came back from my shooting session at the Greyhound, my local in Coventry, the plastic box, it was within this cardboard box. So I pulled the box out, the plastic box, and it's a new design one since my last corral. Turkish manufacturers must be using this box for different guns, because I saw one of Big Dan's reviews on a gun that I've never heard of before, a company I've never heard of. Whether Krall own that company, because they own, I believe, Webley. But this box has got a handle on it and it's got little wheels on the bottom. I won't go into great detail about the box because the box was actually broken. When I pulled it out the cardboard cover, the slider here, there's a plastic tag. You probably won't see this on the video, but as I say, I'm not going to deem this that important, but the slider there, there's a tag missing and the box was open at the end. There was a big crack in the box and I looked at it and thought, oh, it's not closed properly. And when I went to close it, the tags broke off. I looked at the other end and the tags broken off that one too. And when I sat and thought about it, I thought, well, most guns you buy, you don't get a gun slip or a gun bag or a box. You don't get anything. And at the end of the day, I have to say that this gun is still the same price as it was a year and a half ago. I paid £340 for the gun. I will get it out in a minute. It's not actually in the box. I've put my Viroc in here. I will tell you why. My spring gun, my HW57. Within the box is 2 thin layers of sponge and the cocking lever on the side of the NPO2, which is what I bought, an NPO2. I had the marine version last time. What was well, part of the block. Was the barrel silver or was that black? I can't remember, but it was silver basically, the metalwork, most of it. But I sold it. I lost interest with all the lockdowns. I lost interest in shooting. I sold all my equipment. I sold the lot. I just totally lost interest. I just got fed up. But anyway, I missed that gun and I thought, you know what, that was a good gun for the price, £330, same price as I paid for my Viroc HW57 spring gun. So I thought about it and I thought what my choices were of what guns you could get for £400 or £500, because I don't like spending a lot of money. I'm not tight. In fact, over the last 6 months I've worked out I've spent £2,500 on camera equipment, lighting equipment, sound recording equipment, and even a drone. And this is the first video that I've actually used any footage of the drone. I have got another channel going on YouTube and I've got some drone videos on that. I've been using it for quite some time, but I did buy it with the idea that when I was at shooting ranges I'd be able to get some footage. But anyway, getting back to the gun, I shot this gun for 6 days. So I'm not going to do a full review of this gun because there's many of them, and this is like I won't say it's a Mark II version. I don't even know why I'm opening the case because it's not in there. I'm concentrating on what I'm saying because I'll start jumbling my sentences and repeating myself, which is what I do. Right, I've owned the gun now for 11 days apparently. I've just asked the wife. I says, when did we buy that? I've put it in this bag because this bag is very padded. And because I've had a new scope as well, not only did I get the gun, at the same time as we picked up the gun, she bought a silencer, a Hogan I think it is. Where's the box? I got exactly the same silencer as I got the last time because I was very impressed with it. I did my research, and the guy who did the video, and he's not associated with this company whatsoever, he had a decibel meter and he put this up against the Viroc silencer, and there was no difference except the price. Last time I bought it a year and a half ago, I'll show you the silencer on the end of the gun in a moment, but that's the box it came in. A year and a half ago it was £38. This time round, a year and a half later, it was £47. English UK, £47. But I'm still as impressed with it as what I was on the last gun. So I got one of those, and then I took the scope from my Remington Express, and it's a very poor scope in the sense that I can't get it clear with my glasses because my glasses are very focal. So wherever I shot it, I could see a little red dot of a target, but I couldn't see it clearly. But besides the point, I took the scope off that gun so that I could use this gun till I bought another scope. So at the end of this video, when I've tried to explain a story, hopefully that in a fashion that people watching this video, you the watcher, can't call you the listener, but that you understand, because I talk in riddles a little bit, you'll get used to me. So I got this gun, went to my daughter's, I shot about 80 shots into targets that I filmed, but it was a dodgy day with dodgy weather and it kept suddenly raining really heavy, and I didn't want to put all my cameras out, so I only put one camera out on the target. So you don't really see me shooting the gun, you only see the target being shot, and the video only lasts 6 minutes, the actual target. And I was just trying, for anybody what's new to guns, this hobby or this sport, I call it a hobby because it's a hobby to me. I don't class it as a sport, but I know some people do. But right, here's the gun. I'll show you this better in a moment. But my advice to anyone who has just bought a gun, whether it's a PCP, pneumatic, you know, you have to put compressed air into it, or whether it's a spring loaded gun or a gas ram or a CO2, doesn't matter what gun it is, what shoots pellets, air rifle, air pistol, get as many pellets as you can and find out what the gun barrel likes, because even if you've got this very gun, not this exact gun I'm holding in my hands, but if you've got one of these guns, a Kral MPO2, what this gun favours, yours might not. Your barrel may prefer something different. It's a long, complicated story, what's too deep to go into, and I don't pretend to understand it totally. To do with harmonics, the barrel harmonics, to do with the speed, the FPS, foot per second or meters per second, whichever way you look at it, of the projectile coming out the barrel. There's a lot of things in the equation of why it likes a certain pellet. So try and shoot as many different pellets as you can through the gun, different brands, to find out what pellet your gun likes, regardless of what make of gun it is or how it's powered, being a pellet gun. And from that, you've cracked it. And then after that, you can even do a more stringent one. You can then, when you found what pellet the gun likes down the barrel, you can actually experiment with the head size of the pellet. So from a 4.0, in this case it's a 177, so 4.50, 4.51, 4.52, because that also makes a difference. But I won't go on too much, I'm yabbling again, I'm going off topic. But anyway, this gun was bought from Solware. I had it for 6 days and I shot probably about 180 pellets through it. And I was down the Greyhound pub, not down the pub, sorry, the pub's behind the shooting range, but I was down the Greyhound shooting, and a guy called Tom sat next to me, took a bit of interest. He'd never seen one before. I think he was, I don't know, I presume he's fairly new to the as I call it, hobby. And so I said, I'll tell you what, have a shot with it, mate, because I don't mind people shooting me gun, answering any questions, and if I can help anybody, I'm no expert, by the way, but I've been shooting for a long time, and I say I'll have a few shots with it. So I took the magazine out, put 14 pellets into it, loaded it into the breech, and when I went to load the first pellet and pulled the lever forward, there was a lot of resistance, and I thought, oh blooming hell, that don't feel good. Now I've been thumbing the pellets into this. I prefer not to use magazines or even the single shot tray. I prefer just to pull the lever back and cock it, get the pellet, and just thumb it straight into the back of the breech. I find it quite easy to do that. I don't like, with me, it's a personal thing, everybody's different. I like to hold the gun, aim, take my time, shoot, and then go through the process of loading the gun again, and that gives me my eyes a chance to look at something other than the target, have a little break for a little minute, put the pellet in, and repeat the process. When you're just sat there bench resting a gun and you just keep pulling the lever, bang, 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 it's very easy to get yourself into a bit of a, go a bit too quick and then start missing the targets. So I like to individually load pellets. So basically what I'm saying is, for the 2 times I shot the gun and probably put quite a few pellets through it, the gun worked absolutely faultless. I found out what pellet it liked, which you'll find at the end of this video, which is quite astonishing. I was quite astonished. I put, I think, 8 or 9 different brands of pellet through it, and it did like one, it did favour one, and I was amazed, and it made me quite happy because they happened to be cheaper pellets. So I was thumbing pellets directly into the breech, and that's how I've been using the gun ever since I had it. And if it had no fault at all, I'd still be doing that, because that's my preferred method. But I tried to load the magazine for this guy to let him have a shot with the gun. Went to load the first pellet in, and on the lever I felt some resistance. The pellet wouldn't go in. I didn't want to force it or jam it, so by pure luck I give it a gentle wiggle, wobbled it up and down gently, and I managed to get it out with no damage to anything, no jam pellet. And I says, oh, sorry about that, mate, I must have got a bit of a problem going on here somewhere. Then I tried my single shot tray, which I haven't got on me, it's in a bag. My mate, I put that in, put a pellet in, and I slowly pulled the probe forwards and looked in, and when the probe comes forwards, it lifts. I'll put a video on while I'm talking. You'll see it in, well, not slow motion, but you'll see what I'm on about. Oh, to try and demonstrate what's happening, when you go to probe the pellet in, if you watch it carefully, the front end drops. Now let's get into the light. The front end drops down. There, look. And when you go to probe it, you just jam it. I put that tape there to see if I could hire it. Put some tape into underneath the actual where the some silver tape so you can see it clearer. When the probe comes in, it goes through the 2 holes in the single shot tray, but when it doesn't go through 2 holes, it comes in through the first hole, and then when it gets to push the pellet, as the pellet goes, when it goes to go into the barrel section at the end of the barrel of the breech, it lifts the skirt of the pellet, and if you was to push it forward, guaranteed it would jam the pellet. So that would indicate to me at the end of the barrel, the circle at the end of the barrel where the pellet goes in, when the probe pushes it, the barrel's out of alignment, so that the pin is slightly, your probe, we'll call it a pin, a probe, is slightly higher, and it's sort of forcing the back end of your pellet up. But on closer inspection, it's a real head scratcher, this is. On really close inspection, which I don't think you'll see, but you'll have already seen the video, the pin isn't bent, the probe is perfectly straight, and it doesn't matter what angle you look at it. I've had a powerful magnifying glass, and I've watched it going in slow, and it lines up perfect. The pin or the probe lines up perfect with the hole. It's not forcing itself down as it goes in the barrel to push the pellet, or it's going up. It's perfect, and it actually looks perfect when it's in, which it is at the moment. So I've looked from all angles at it, and I can't work out what's going wrong. But when I sat and thought about it, I phoned Solware, explained what the problem was, and they basically said to me, Bill said to me on the phone, the manager of the shop, says, bring it back, Shane, we'll exchange it for another one. Which I thought, can't get any fairer than that. So due respects to Solware, I've been dealing with them for a while, I've never had any issues and they've always treated me fine. So I sat and thought about it, thought I've put about 190 shots through this gun, it fires really nice, it seems to favour the cheap pellets, that's definitely a thumbs up, and there's no other fault with the gun other than you can't shoot it with a magazine, and I can't even shoot it with a single shot tray, but that's not how I'd use the gun. So to me really it doesn't make it any difference, because I don't mind thumbing the pellets in. The only time it would make a big difference is if I come to sell the gun to somebody. Nobody's going to ever in the future want to buy a gun that you can't use the magazines with, or even the single shot tray. So that's when it presents a bit of a problem. So so I sat and thought, and I thought, and I thought, and I spent, I won't say hours, but I spent a fair time thinking about it. Shall I take it back and change it? And what happens if I get one back and it starts losing air? And the trigger, I haven't mentioned that yet. Trigger is lovely on this. I haven't adjusted it, I haven't touched it. People moan about, oh, the trigger's too hard. It's got a lovely trigger, absolutely lovely. And anybody, when I've been down the shooting club, and hopefully Mick's watching this, because me and a guy called Mick who watches me videos, he took great interest in it, and I let him shoot it a few times. He was impressed with the gun for the money, and we were both shooting, and this is not a lie, and hopefully he may put it in the comments at the bottom. I don't know if he's got a YouTube account, but if he has, hopefully Mick, if you watch this video, put in the comments to say that I'm not telling lies what I'm going to say now. But we were both aiming, and you can't tell from 72 yards exactly how big the target is, but there's a reactive target where I go, and it's the furthest target down the range. And I asked the boss man, I says, how far is that target? The very, very furthest one on the embankment on the pole, the reactive target. Apparently it's 72 yards. Even with this scope on, which I'll come on to in a moment, which is quite powerful, even with this scope, looking through it, it still looks small, even at 24. This scope is a, I think it's a 6x24 by 50, and even at 24 zoomed in right maximum, it still looks, you can see it quite clearly, but to the human eye from that sort of distance it is absolutely tiny, and it only looks about the size of a 1p piece, a UK 1p piece. I don't know, I've never been up to it, but it really does look small. There's a circle at the top and a square at the bottom, and then you knock the circle down at the top, and then if you hit the bottom one it retracts the circle. So between us, me and Mick had a BSA, I'm not sure if it was an Ultra, a BSA PCP with a bolt action to load it. Obviously out of 10 shots each, we didn't hit it every time. It's 72 yards, and now and again the wind picked up, and I could see my shot miss by possibly 6 inches to the left, so I'd aimed to the right to account for the wind. The wind gust had stopped, and then my pellet went to the right by 3 inches, so it was a hit and miss affair, but we did both hit it several times, and you get a bit of a thrill. But getting back to the gun, when I borrowed John's Viroc HW110 for my last video, the review I did, I was really impressed with his telescopic sight on his gun. I was that impressed, I rang him straight up as soon as I looked through it and says, blooming hell, that's some sight, that is. I'm impressed with that. Now, me and my haste and my rush went on the internet, and it's you know, it's one of those tasks that you try and sift through all the scopes on there, right from the very high end ones. I wanted something what matched the gun, what's good value for money but's not going to break the bank. So I come across this one. Fantastic, I'm really over the moon with it. I will do a bit of a review on the scope. I'm not going to say too much at the moment. It was £139 with the wheel for the side focusing. As I say, let's turn that round. It's 6 by 24 by 50. Now I've made a bit of a blunder because my garden's only 13 metres, and when I come to sort of half sight the scope in and get me zero at that sort of distance, it was blurred because its minimum focusing distance is 20 yards. They reckon it's a bit less, it might be about 18 yards. So till I got to my daughter's, I could never have a clear view. So maybe I should have got the slightly less powerful one, which was a bit cheaper than this one. But I am over the moon with it, and I will do a review of this scope. It's got the sunshade on because I didn't want to leave the sunshade loose in my bag. Well, where were we? Oh, we're at the gun. I shot off a fill, and it's full up now as well, 180 bar. I don't take it to 200, I take it to 180. I shot about 100, definitely 150 shots, if not more, and it still had probably another 25-30 shots left in it till it needed filling up again with air. So I'm actually over the moon with this gun. It shoots very nice, as good as any other gun I've ever had. They're a bit of a Marmite gun. Some people look at them and go, "Ooh, what's that?" And they don't like it. We're all individuals, but I like them. I like it because it's quirky. It's got the bottle there, a bottle at the front, 530 cc's combined of air. You get, I don't know, I've never been sad enough to sit there and count it, but also, and I haven't brought it in with me, what Krall are doing now is when you buy a gun, in your box or your cardboard box, however you received the gun, you get a printout, and I've got 1 to 14 shots, the shot string, and this gun is averaging 11.2 foot-pounds and it was a deviation over 14 shots. I believe it was 9 foot per second difference from its highest to its lowest over a 14 shot span. So yeah, I'm over the moon with it, and anybody who shows interest when I'm down the shooting range, I'll let them have a go with it. I do explain you have to thumb the pellet in because the magazine doesn't work, so I'm not going to take it back. I'm actually going to keep it, and one of many more to come. And I'm sort of slowly, as long as I can remember, I've been a spring gun man, and I've always favoured spring guns over PCPs. Every day of the week, if I had to have one gun only, it would be a spring gun. But I shot this the other day for about an hour. I did a bit of gassing to people, a bit of shooting, a bit of gassing, and over a period of an hour, I thought, oh, I'll get my HW57 out, because I like shooting my HW57, my Varrock, which has turned out to be a fairly accurate gun, and it felt as rough as old boots, and it doesn't normally have that sort of that doesn't normally happen to me when I've been shooting a PCP. It feels nice to get back to my Springer, but as I say, I shot this for an hour, got the Varrock out the bag, and the first shot I had with it, I thought, blimey, that feels like a rough old clangy blooming, I don't know. And then I picked this back up, which is unusual because I normally shoot a PCP for 20 minutes and then put it in the boot of my car and then get my spring gun back out, which is why I've never bought an expensive PCP. What's the MP500? That was a very good gun. I think they're about £500, or they were at the time that I owned mine. That's a brilliant gun. I'd say it's slightly more accurate than this one, not by a lot, but that one I had anyway, it was fantastic. But right, my next video, at the end now, you'll see some target shooting. Only lasts 6 minutes, and you'll be surprised by what pellet that this actual gun likes, because I still am, and I've been shooting that brand of pellet today as well, and it's done really good. I've almost hit everything I've aimed at. So I'm going to stick with this gun despite its faults, because it's not an expensive gun. £330, brand new. What was it, £47 for the silencer. The scope was £139. Victor Optics, or Vict Optics, and that's a subsidiary brand of Vector Optics. It's a company that they own, and they make slightly more budget scopes than the Vector optics, if that makes any sense. But it certainly doesn't feel like a budget scope. It's got pull turrets, good clicking sounds when you turn it, very positive. But I will do a full review of that. So we'll get on to the shooting. When I got here and unloaded the car and put everything here, the wind decided to blow a little bit, and the side of this canopy decided to erupt loads of water over me. I had half a bucket of water, so my trainers and my trousers are wet through, the side of my arm is wet through, but we'll carry on regardless. So if I can keep the camera steady, it's 30 yards down there, the target. That's the sighting target I've just used to slightly zero the gun. So we'll start the shooting, and hopefully it doesn't rain because this camera's not waterproof. And there's the gun, the MPO2, and there's a selection of pellets. I've got 4 homemade targets that I've cut from cardboard, so I'm running low on targets. I'm not interested if I don't hit the centre of that X. It's more for the grouping to find what the gun likes of what I've got on offer here. So let's get rolling, see what we can do. First target, Air Arms Diablo Field, 5 shots in every target. RWS Superdome's the next. H&N Field Target Trophies next. I think the H&Ns have been the best ones so far. RWS Super Fields next. These are the AA Express, the slightly lighter pellets. That was a good group. Next one, JSB Exact. BSA Fury's next. I won't hold my breath for this target. And there's me disrespecting those BSA Fury pellets, and they turned out to be the best so far. Right, next, RWS Super H points. I don't think these are going to do too well, but I said that this time, didn't I? Next is the Gamma Match Classic Flathead pellets. They didn't do too bad, I don't think. Next is the Webley VMX. Last on today's hit list is the Victory Strike Point pointed pellets, SMK. Now, one of them totally missed the target. I shot the last one off into an apple in the ground, shocking them Victory SMK bloody pointy things, Victory shots. They are in this gun, and they've never fired in any gun I've ever had with any accuracy, but I daren't shoot any more of those. I won't know where they're going. I don't want to take my camera out, so let's do some serious editing.